Greetings, Dr. Dalton and fellow classmates. I am Jesse McCoy, and I will provide my video overview on the Trudell documentary. So, the Trudell documentary was very interesting. However, I did not like the tactics that John Trudell, who was the main character, used to get attention he was seeking on behalf of the American Indian people and from the U.S. government. So the producers of the Trudell documentary brought capture events from the past that John Trudell was a part of to generate a chronographic history for current and future generations of Native Americans as a way of bridging the past to the future. So, in my eyes, the purpose of the Trudell documentary was an effort to keep alive the Native American struggle, stir up activism of behaviors in Native Americans, especially young, and of course, generate interest of individuals within the Native American communities to continue to fight to regain what was seized from the American Indian people. So here's a little background information to entice you to see the Trudell documentary. By the way, you can YouTube the Trudell documentary over the internet just by typing in the name Trudell in the YouTube search box. So John Trudell, born February the 15th, 1946, and he passed away December the 8th, 2015. Born in Omaha, Nebraska, and grew up in small towns near the Santee Sioux Indian Reservation, South Dakota. If you didn't know, Indian reservations were said to have been designed by white men to deprive Native Americans of their language and culture. Some family history of Trudell. Trudell's father was from Santee, South Dakota, and his mother was a Mexican. Trudell was a Native American author. He was a poet. He was an actor, a musician, as well as a political activist. So he was able to put all the right words together to spread his message via various media outlets. In 1963, at the age of 17, Trudell dropped out of high school and joined the U.S. Navy. Trudell served about 4 years in the Navy to include unconfrontational time in the Vietnam War before his end of time in service. After his service in the military, Trudell studied radio broadcasting for 2 years at a community college in San Bernardino, California. Then he decided to work political activism. So it was at this juncture when Trudell became involved in Indian activism. Activism is the practice of vigorous actions of involvement as a means of achieving political goals via demonstrations and or protests that you or others want. So the key words here are vigorous actions of involvement. Please keep this in mind as we go through the documentary overview. So Trudell was the spokesperson for the United Indians of all tribes for the takeover of Alcatraz beginning in 1969, radio broadcasting as Free Alcatraz. Trudell also protested against police harassment and injustice in the law enforcement system that was against the American Indian people. During the 1970s, he served as the chairman of the American Indian Movement, which was based in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Trudell was married twice. He had 3 children and was in one reported relationship after the death of his wife and kids in a bizarre house fire. After this tragic event, Trudell relocated to Canada, advocating messages for political asylum. So you may ask the question, why or how did the house catch a fire and his family died in the fire? That is a very good question. The reason why I didn't like the tactics that John Trudell used to gain the attention of the U.S. government was because I thought he tried very hard to in, imitate the actions of Adolf Hitler by extending his arms over the people while speaking to them. So, extending the arms over his audience was a signal for his audience to obey him or believe what he had to say. In some countries, extending the arm as Hitler done it is an illegal offense. Public speaking is one thing, but when you use aggressive vocal language along with body language and gestures in such a way condemning an institution responsible for nation building, it just doesn't sit well for me. So John Trudell used Mother Earth as the provider of all, as we must take care of it for future generations. This is so true. However, if it were not for a nation building to include everything man-made we see, we have, we need, and we own to make our lives better and develop our country for the future, I mean, we all would be living like primitive lives in caveman days if we didn't do these things. Trudell was totally against, and he should have been, what the U.S. government was doing to build up a nation and take measures to protect it. It is true that the U.S. government seized massive lands from the American Indian people and pushed thousands, hundreds of thousands of Indian people into oppression. The land that was seized uprooted Indian culture, values, traditions, as well as their rights, loss of homes, exterminations of family generations, and loss of family cohesiveness. So the struggle lives on. The struggle lives on. Yes, all these things, bad things, did happen, and it was wrong in every sense. But just like slavery of blacks, the Holocaust of the Jews, the Rwandan genocide, but today, legislation like affirmative action lives, as well as rights for peaceful protests, equal rights, the right to vote, and freedom of speech. So in my eyes, John Trudell should have used a more peaceful tactic like bargaining, cooperation, negotiation that would have gained more respect for him and more rights for the Native American people. For this class, counselors should be familiar with the history of Native Americans. Counselors should display an interest or concern in their Native American clients. Clients should inspire and encourage their Native American clients. Counselors should respect the values, traditions, and practices of Native Americans. Counselors should get involved with their local tribal communities where there is an opportunity. Counselors should meet with tribal leaders and find a Native American mentor. Counselors should attend tribal, social, and cultural events. Spend time in the Native American communities. Attend Native American training workshops as well as socialize with Native Americans. Counselors should build up relationships with their local Native American communities. Incorporate spirituality into counseling and reduce obstacles for receiving care. Yes, all these things alike to make any client receiving counseling from you feel that you are respectful and careful for who they are, appreciate their culture, their culture's contributions to our society. So Dr. D and fellow classmates, this concludes my video overview of the Trudell documentary. I hope you was able to get something from it, and I see you all on the next class. You have a great evening. Take care. Jesse McCoy, and I'm out.